Hey BookTube, welcome back. I'm Winx, and the ink I'm talking about today is my May wrap-up. May was not my best reading month. I did not read nearly as much as I planned to, and most of what I did read were graphic novels, so they were all pretty short and pretty fast reads, and yeah. I ended up just having a lot going on, and I know this has kind of been the name of the game lately, so yeah, it's been slowing down my reading progress a bit, but it's all good things that are keeping me busy, and I'm still squeezing in a few good reads in there. So to go over what I did read in May, I will start off with a few statistics. In the month of May, I completed 5 books, and there was one that I started but did not finish. In total, I read 1,293 pages. Of the books I finished, 2 were novels and 3 were graphic novels. I read 4 of these books in paperback and 1 on Kindle. And as for ratings, I ended up giving 1 book 3 stars, 2 books I gave 4 stars, and another 2 books I gave 5 stars. I'll start with the graphic novels. So first I read the first volume of Jem and the Holograms. I really was not sure what to expect from this going in because I heard some good reviews and I heard some not so good reviews, and as you can see from the cover, the art style is very different from what was in the original TV series, and also just part of what made Jem so fun and wonderful was the music, and you don't really get that in a graphic novel. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but I was very pleasantly surprised because I loved this. I actually ended up giving this 5 stars. It was fantastic. I haven't actually rewatched Jem as an adult, and I don't think I will because I want to hold on to that magical memory that I have from childhood, and I know if I watch it now I'll see things that I will now consider problematic and it will ruin that wonderful memory that I have. But this comic took all of those things that I remember being wonderful and updated them. So it's set in current times as opposed to the 1980s. The band members talk a lot about social media, and you see things pop up as tweets and texts and stuff like that. So it's definitely very modern, and there are some relationships that weren't in the original series but that I totally am for, all for. I ship it hard, and yeah, it's pretty great. And the music is still handled in a neat way. Let me find an example. So here's a scene of the Misfits playing, which is the rival band to Jem and the Holograms, and so you can see how they have the lyrics kind of swooshing around as they're clearly playing and singing, and so you can tell that they're singing, you can tell that it's music, and it's formatted in a neat way that just made that really clear, and I don't know, it just worked for me. It really did. So I highly recommend this if you are a fan of Jem and the Holograms, or if you are just looking for a new and fun adventure in graphic novel form. Next, I read the first volume of Lumberjanes, which was fantastic. This was my other 5-star read, and I definitely am looking forward to continuing on with this series as well. All the characters are so great. There's such a range of different character types and personalities, and there's this really awkward and adorable crush that's going on between 2 of the characters, and I love that. I love the way that gender stereotypes are just completely and hilariously shredded apart in this, and everything is just magical and awesome, and I love it. And the title of this particular volume is Beware the Kitten Holy. So obviously that drew me in right there, but yeah, very cute. The other graphic novel I read was a bit of a larger one, and that is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. And I also totally did not realize when I was picking this up that Alison Bechdel is the Bechdel from the Bechdel test. I also hadn't actually heard of this particular graphic novel, but I have heard of several other graphic novels that Alison Bechdel has done. So I had several moments of realizing all these connections and that this person who did all these things is the same person, and that was just a kind of cool moment. But anyway, Fun Home. So this book I thought was okay. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I didn't totally connect to the main character. I thought the story was really interesting, and I definitely was curious to keep going and to see how the dynamics shifted in her family and how she grew up and the realizations that she had about herself and her father and just family in general. It was all really interesting, but I just didn't feel a connection. And I guess I was just expecting a bit more, and even more so once I actually heard more about who Alison Bechdel is. To be fair, I think a lot of that is based off of my own life experiences and just where I am currently in life. I think if I had read this maybe 6 years ago, it would have had a bigger impact, and it might have been a 4 or 5 star book for me, depending on when I read it. Some of the language that was used when talking about queer topics and gender topics and stuff just rubbed me the wrong way at certain points. I just didn't really care for some of the phrasing. Just personally, some of the wording choices, I guess, made me feel uncomfortable. But even though this isn't very old, it was published in 2006, I think that because it takes place quite a bit earlier, I believe it takes place like in the late 70s or throughout the 80s, I don't remember exactly, but it takes place quite a bit earlier than 2006, and I think maybe the language is coming from the time that it's taking place in, so I can go with that. But yeah, just the experience of reading it was interesting. I'm glad I read it, especially because it's by a more prolific author of the queer community, but it just wasn't something that I could really connect to. And yeah, like I said, some of the word choices just hit me the wrong way and pulled me out of the story a bit because I was having my own reaction to the word. And yeah, so I think maybe it just wasn't the perfect read for me, but again, I'm glad I read it, and for these reasons I give it 3 stars. The first of the novels that I read was Asteroid Made of Dragons by G. Derek Adams, and I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars on Goodreads. It was set in an interesting world that actually kept reminding me a lot of like classic World of Warcraft. For the most part, it fits into the fantasy realm, but there are also little bits of sci-fi in there, which was a fun component. The world overall had kind of a silly vibe to it, but it really worked because it didn't take itself too seriously. And underneath that silliness, there was still a really solid story. So yeah, it was really fun. I liked the characters and I liked the relationships between them. I thought that was well done. And I saw that the next 2 books were like $1 or $2 on Kindle, so I picked both of those up and I will hopefully read them sometime soon. Then the final book that I read in May is Gilo by J.D. Horn, which is the 4th and latest book in the Witching Savannah series. And I actually recently did a review video for this one, so I will just put a link to that below if you want to go check it out. But I gave this one 4 stars, and I definitely enjoyed it, and I recommend it to anyone who's been keeping up with the Witching Savannah series. Alright, that's my May wrap up. I did not read as much as I planned, but I still feel pretty good about the books that I did read, and hopefully June will be a little bit better, but it's already not off to the best start with all of the subscription box stuff that I've been working on. I haven't had quite as much time and focus for reading as I would like, but I'm super excited about all the stuff that I'm doing for that, so totally worth it. Alright, well, let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books and what you think about them, and if you have like a favorite pick from May, or if you read something you think I would like, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope everybody's week is going well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!